Hi, so this is actually the bucket hat video. Initially I wanted to put this up a week after the fuzzy cardigan video went up, which is also on a Thursday, but well, let's just say we had a family tragedy. So yeah, I used to believe that all good things happen on Thursdays and that Thursdays were just the best days for me and everyone else, but I don't think I believe in that anymore. Anyway, I filmed all of this a while back and it is a cute bucket hat tutorial. Yeah, so I'm just gonna make a bucket hat and it's gonna be fun. Yay!
Okay, so there are 3 ways to make bucket hats. The first one would be using a bunch of granny squares, which would be 4 for the sides and then 1 for the center, and then after that crocheting the frill. For the second method, it would be to make a circular base like this one is, a circular base, and then afterwards attach 4 squares along the sides. And I think the third method is essentially the same, but instead of making separate rectangles and crocheting them in, you just continue crocheting straight down. So for this one, I think I'll be doing the third method, is crocheting the circle and then crocheting straight down. And I don't know how the fuzzy material would work out, but it should work fine. Also, I didn't thread this in because I am notoriously lazy when it comes to threading things in.
So for this, you're going to have to go back to primary school when they tried to teach you circles and areas of circles and whatnot, and you were like, I'm never going to need this in practical life, and then you decided to learn how to sew, and it's like, ha, you do! So a circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, which is also pi diameter. To make the circumference you need, you're going to measure your head, and then you're going to sub that into the math, and then reverse it, and then make it make sense. Does that make sense? Just put a formula here, and I'll sub in my values. My noggin is massive because I don't know, but yeah.
Okay, so to make the fuzzy hat, obviously you're going to need your fuzzy yarn. I'm going to be using the measurements here. Obviously, if your measurements are different, which they probably are because my skull is massive, you're just gonna sub in the values, and then yeah, sub in the values into the equation, and then you can get your own measurements. So I'm going to show you how to start since we're working in a circle, and there are 2 ways to start. I'll show you on the black yarn so it's easier to see. So one way would be to, as usual, do a slip knot. So once you have your slip knot, what you want to do is chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you have your chain 4, you're going to slip stitch into the first loop chain. Slip stitch, yarn over, and then pull that right through. And then you chain 1, 2, 3, and this will be your first double crochet. And you're going to work into the center that you've created. So not the biggest loop, but the center right here. And there. And then there we go. And then you make 12 double crochets and it will be a loop. Now I'm going to show you the other method. So the other way is to do a magic ring. It starts about the same, but instead of doing that, you yarn over and twist your hook and yarn over again and pull it through. So you'll have something like this. Again, you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you work 11 double crochets into this loop, like so. Yep, so that's how you start, and I'm just going to work with my fuzzy yarn now. So when making my bucket hat, I used the magic ring method. I just prefer it to the other one because I feel like it gives you a more enclosed circle. So everything's like slightly more compact rather than having more space. So as you crochet your circle, you continue crocheting on the tail end. And if you want to close the circle, you just tug on the tail end and the circle will close like so. And then you have a circle like this. I'm going to pull this tighter also. Okay, and then now you're going to slip stitch into the top of this. Oof. There we go. It's It's really hard to see, but I think if you're used to working with the material, then yeah. And then afterwards you're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and then you're going to work 2 double crochets into everything. So that means you will have 24 double crochets in this row. Oh my god. Okay. So 2 double crochets into the first one. Oh. And remembering that this first chain is 1 double crochet. Okay, and then afterwards you just slip stitch into the top of the other chain again, and then you'll get a circle like this, a little circle. So for the next row, okay, again you chain 3, and then for the next row, what you're going to do is put 1 double crochet, and then in the next one you do 2 double crochets. So basically every row that you do, you need to increase by 12. This bucket hat tutorial has so much more math than I expected, but I will try to write out a pattern that makes sense even though I suck at patterns at eMath. So for the next row, what you're going to do is 2 single crochets and then an increase. So every single row you need to increase by 12, and yeah, follow this formula. I hope it's right. If not, I'll just type it all out for you. Anyway, I will check back with you when I have finished to the circumference of my head, and then we'll go from there. So for now, follow the formula and make a circle. Yay! Once you have a circle that is like this, then we can start on this chain 3. And then you're just going to do 1 double crochet in each of the stitches all around. Okay, so once you get to the last one, you're going to double crochet. Jesus, the construction outside. You're going to double crochet into this loop, and then afterwards, as usual at the end of every row, you're just going to slip stitch back into the top of the 3rd chain of the loop. Get in there. And voila. So, okay. So your single crochets will be the side of the hat that is flat against your head. I don't know the terminology for it right now, but let me find an example. Okay, so your crochets essentially will be this part of the hat, and this is the circle. So you just need to count how many rows you want to do for this and how long you would like it. For the previous bucket hats I've made, I've been using about 4.5 inches before I do the brim, and I think I'll continue doing 4 or 4.5 inches. So just keep double crocheting once in every loop until that, and slowly it will form the flat edges of the hat. Okay, so once you have a semblance of a hat, this material is so flimsy. This might have been a mistake. Okay, so essentially you can see it's kind of like a bowl-ish thing, and I think this is how long I want the length of it to be, so we can work on the brim of the hat. So for the brim, at the start, as always, we chain 3. The pattern for this is 1 double crochet, and then in the next loop, in the next one, you do an increase. So 2 double crochets into it. 1, 2. And then after that, you just repeat that for the whole round. So once you're done with this row where you just basically keep repeating the pattern of one double crochet and then an increase in the next loop. You're going to do 2 more rows of just double crochets, so no increasing, no decreasing, nothing. And then with that, it would be done, and you would have your hat. And there we go, bucket hat. It's really cute. It doesn't have much shape because I used fuzzy yarn. Basically, that's the basis of how to make a bucket hat. You can play around with it. I did a cow one also. Once you get the hang of it, you can change colors, use any other type of yarn, do whatever you want and just experiment with it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hit all the buttony thingies if you want to. And yeah, love you, see you, bye!